Hey, Shifting fam. So I'm going to answer this question by one of the viewers. They said, can you do a video about early signs of dating a warlock? Please. Okay, so I'm going to give you 5 early signs that you could be dating a warlock. Now, some of the things that you're going to hear is going to sound like it is synonymous with a narcissist because oftentimes a narcissist and a warlock could be one and the same. As a matter of fact, from my observation and experience, I find that many narcissists are warlocks and many warlocks are narcissistic. The thing is, they overlap and it's all spiritual warfare. Whether it's a narcissist or it's a warlock or it's both, it's all spiritual warfare. So I'm going to start off out the gate with number one. They will charm to disarm. Many warlocks are very charming people. They have the ability to be very persuasive to people, very alluring in many ways, and they're very relatable because most warlocks study human psychology and they've had a lot of experience with women in particular. They study the nature of women and they gain the intel that they need. They'll come across like they are very intentional about you. They're listening to you, hanging on to your every word. But I noticed that they like to take up a lot of your time during the talking stage. If you have a strict program, if you kind of live a very organized life and you got things to do, you got to go to school, you got to go to work, you got to run your business, you just have other things to do. I find that in the beginning stages, they want to be around you all the time, kind of like that love bombing phase with narcissists. They have a tendency to ask very specific and personal questions, childhood questions. And I just find through my personal observation and studies that they're looking for trauma. They're looking for you to disclose your traumas or unhealed wounds to them because a lot of warlocks, they use people's voids against them, unhealed wounds against them, and whatever unresolved trauma you may have, they will use that as a point of reference to exploit you from that place. They ask questions that are way too personal, way too soon. And they take up way too much of your time. They want to be on the phone all day long. They want to talk to you all night. If you don't call them often or you don't talk to them often, they act like you did them wrong and they're using that under the guise that they're just so interested. But truth be told, they are trying to disrupt your program and your natural flow of life because they are trying to anchor themselves in your life. And the way that you can do that is by overwhelming you with their presence. So I would definitely say look out for that, taking up way too much of your time in the talking stage. Number two, flattery to lust. Many warlocks, they can come across very sexy, very seductive, and very enticing. So it's not even really about their looks or anything like that. It is about their energy. I find that many of these men have a very incubus type of spirit about themselves. They have a tendency to talk with their eyes and lick their lips and biting their lip and stuff all the time. All of these long eye gazes and things of that nature. If you are attracted to the guy, that can be very enticing. Keep in mind, if it's in the beginning stages of getting to know someone, you want to keep a healthy, energetic boundary in place so that you're not going ahead of yourself, especially as it pertains to intimacy. If they try to do it subtly, but if you pay attention, you can see it's giving seduction. The other thing that they do with the flattery is they over compliment you. They just go overboard with the compliments. And I find that when a person is overly complimenting you all the time, especially earlier on, they're trying to get your guard down for something. There's usually an ulterior motive. A compliment here and there is perfectly healthy. That's fine. Ooh, you just so this. Ooh, you just so that. It could just be over the top, this over admiration for you. It could just be a bit too much, a bit too soon. So I just find that they're doing the over complimenting to get your guard down. And usually the ulterior motive is so that they can try to get you into bed. Almost every warlock I know in the beginning stages, regardless of how normal they come across or gentlemen like, I find that many of them, not even a month in, they're going to slip some type of lust in the conversation. or they're going to try to do something to make a move in an intimate way. And if they're very desperate to get in your energy, they're going to try to want to be around you all the time so that they can use that seduction to make a move on you with the kissing on the forehead and the kissing on your hand, and the kissing on your cheek and acting like they're being a gentleman. But a lot of those types of kisses, they're very intentional and they're supposed to be endearing, right? If somebody kiss you on your forehead or they're kissing you on your hand or they're just smooching you on your cheek, it's intentional to come across as endearing. And then they're hoping that you initiate, something like a French kiss or what have you. And for a lot of people, once you decide to go towards the lips and you go beyond that, 9 times out of 10, the bedroom will follow. So a lot of them, they are very serious about trying to get you in that bed very fast because they're trying to create a soul tie and a bind. Number 3, you will notice that your momentum will slow down. The more you talk to him and the more he's around, your momentum will slow down. So if you are a hyperactive person, you're highly productive, your output is at a high rate, you just on the go all the time and you are moving at an accelerated pace in your life, in your career, with your personal goals and your endeavors. With this man being around, you will notice your energy levels will begin to drop. The more you talk to this person, the more your energy levels will drop, the more you will feel drained. When somebody has good energy, you're supposed to feel on fire when you talk to them. And you're supposed to feel motivated, like you can just take on the world. And you're supposed to get a boost of energy, like you can just take your life to the next level because their energy is so vital and it's so high vibrational that it just put a spark in you and make you want to go harder and go further. Anytime you are talking to a man and your momentum is slowing down, you're feeling drained, when you leave from either a conversation or out of his presence, you just feel groggy and fatigued and restless. That person is a warlock. He is literally siphoning your vitality and siphoning your energy. Number 4, your money slows down and your looks begin to fade. You will notice that there is a halt on your finances. That is a major early indicator that you are with a warlock or you're dating a warlock. You will start to notice that your money will slow down or there will be a delay in your finances. Definitely look into the person that is around you. That is an indicator that someone is blocking your favor and they're blocking your abundance. And then your looks will begin to fade. You'll start to notice that your aura becomes dull. I don't know if you know what I mean, but when a person is well rested and you're at peace in your life and you're pouring into yourself, you're doing your daily affirmations, you're speaking life over yourself, you're taking care of yourself, you just have this very healthy, youthful glow. But when you have the wrong person around you and they're in your energy and they're in your auric field, you'll start to notice that your looks start to kind of fade a bit and your youthfulness starts to turn very dull. And you might even begin to start looking a little older. Also, depending on what that person's habits are, you might either lose your appetite or get an increase in your appetite. And if you are in that person's energy, you'll start to notice that over time, with them being around you, they're starting to slowly look better, and you're slowly starting to look drained and starting to look unattractive. Number 5, he starts to mirror you and copy you a lot. You will notice this in the beginning. It's one thing for a person to admire you, but you'll notice that he'll start talking like you, acting like he has the same interest as you. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but he'll start to try to embody you so much that he'll sell it back to you. So he'll take everything that he sees about you, how you talk, your interests, your hobbies, how you eat, your entire lifestyle. He'll start to incorporate that into his lifestyle, but then he'll try to sell it back to you as a way to impress you with your own traits. I don't know if you guys have ever been in a situation like that, but it's a very weird dynamic because you're like, this person is trying to sell me back to me. You're trying to impress me with me, but you'll start to notice the copying that they will do. And then they'll act as though they didn't get it from you by trying to impress you and put you on to what you have put them on to. It is so weird, but I definitely say that is something to look into. And then after the copying and trying to impress you with your own traits, then here comes the downplaying. It won't be very direct, it will be very subtle. So they'll just start to try to compare you to others. So whatever you got going on, whatever field you're working in, whatever you do for a hobby or however you look or anything like that, they'll subtly start to compare you to others. And I also find warlocks to usually have a lot of female friends. I don't know if anybody has kind of peeped that, but I find that a lot of them have just a lot of female casual quote unquote friendships. And they usually use those women as some type of point of reference to compare you two to one another, even if you don't even know these people. And I find it is because they get off being low key dramaful and they're low key gossipy. And they do that as a way to siphon the energy of women. They like to just keep stuff going to stir the pot among women, just to use women as a way to siphon and funnel our vitality and our beauty away from us and take it in as their own. And then also with the mirroring and copying and comparing you and downplaying you, they will also give you unsolicited advice about things that you got going on that has nothing to do with them. You could be doing fine and doing great in your life, and then they'll take it upon themselves to say, well, if I was you, I would do it like this. Or they'll try to just act like they're giving you some advice, but it really is an early sign of envy, and it's early signs of possible mental abuse. And these are usually precursors to destiny swapping attempts. And as much as people do not take heed to these things, you will start to feel uneasy with one or all five of those if you're seeing those signs in your early interactions with that man. 9 times out of 10, he is a warlock. And then the last honorable mention, if you try to disconnect from him very early on, he would do everything to try to attach himself to you. So you can block him on everything. You can say, hey, we're not compatible. You could try to go on with your life, and he will still try to say, why can't we be friends? Why can't we talk? Maybe you just need some time alone. But you are saying, hey, you can go your way, I go my way. It was nice getting to know you, but I don't want to waste each other's time. And that man will act like his life is depending on talking to you. He will try to find a way to forcefully attach himself to you. And a lot of it is because you and your presence makes him feel alive. And it's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but that is a sign of unhealthy codependency. He's using your energy as a battery pack to make his life better. And having you around allows him to manifest at a faster rate. And you will start to notice that if you continue to talk to this person in time, your life will start to go down and his life will start to go up because you're not really in partnership. You are being siphoned, and that is the objective: to see your beauty, to see your accomplishments, to see all of your admirable traits, and to attach himself to you, to funnel and siphon all of that towards him and drain you, and then take on all the fruits of your labor and then go on about his business.